7 money mistakes to avoid in your 20s. Developing sound financial practices may not seem important in your 20s. Enjoying some of the greatest years of your life is crucial, but there are a lot of competing demands on your money. There are also certain significant pitfalls to steer clear of, and doing so will greatly simplify matters regarding your financial future. Avoid these 7 financial blunders in your 20s. Number 7. Excessive debt. Since debt is frequently required, it is uncommon for someone in their 20s to be debt-free. The secret is to distinguish between bad debt, which worsens your financial situation, and good debt, which eventually improves your situation. You should pay off these higher-cost loans as soon as possible because they are a financial burden and offer no rewards. You ought to have a strategy in place for handling your other debts. In addition to saving money on interest payments, you'll also contribute to improving your credit score, which may result in cheaper interest rates down the road when you apply for a mortgage for your first house. Number 6. Getting caught short of cash. Anyone should know how to create and stick to a budget, but in your 20s, it's especially crucial. It's common to misjudge your spending when you're initially learning how to manage your money and get behind on payments, which might result in fines or penalties. This can be expensive and inconvenient, but it can also lower your credit score. You can avoid these mistakes and be sure you know how much and when you can afford them by creating a thorough budget plan. Ideally, after debt is paid off, you should establish an emergency fund to handle unforeseen expenses like urgent auto or home repairs. Additionally, it can be crucial to save some cash in case your work situation changes and you have to temporarily live off of your savings. An emergency fund should, in general, be sufficient to cover 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses. While striking a balance between spending and saving might be challenging, doing so is crucial to managing your money in your 20s. The 503,020 guideline is a useful structure utilized which recommends that you set aside the following while creating a budget. 30% goes toward wants, entertainment, etc. 50% goes toward needs, housing, bills, transportation, etc. 20% for investments, savings, and debt reduction. These ratios are subject to change. It's fantastic and will benefit you in the long run if you can set aside more than 20% of your salary for savings. Some consumers will have to spend extra on basics in the interim. Number 5. Being too low risk for long-term goals. Contrary to popular belief, risk can really be a benefit when it comes to investing. Synonyms for risk include peril, danger, jeopardy, hazard, and menace, according to a search. All of the terms have a bad meaning. It makes sense that the mere mention of investment risk triggers unease in many novice investors. However, keeping money in cash or not investing is in and of itself a risky strategy, at least over time. Cash tends to decrease your wealth over time, and it is not very good at growing your money. Over the last 30 years, the purchasing power of £1 has decreased by half. Source: Bank of England Inflation Calculator. This implies that today's prices for the same goods and services that were formerly only £1 will cost you £2. Over the years, you would have earned some interest on your pounds in a respectable savings account, but it would have been difficult to keep up with increases in the cost of living. The amount in pounds and pence won't change, so you won't lose money on cash. It's crucial, which is why you should always have some on hand in case something unforeseen happens in life. However, holding a large portion of your value in cash over time is a lost opportunity. Saving money may not be the best option for goals that are still a few years away. Instead, investing in the stock market and other assets may be appropriate. Number 4. But also not assuming excessive risk. Why not make a lot of high-risk investments if risk is good? Not so quickly. When taken too far, investment risk can be harmful, and if you adopt a gambler's mentality, it can result in financial ruin. Invest in just one company, for example. You're trusting your money to a single company and management group. Most people find it to be far too risky, but becoming an entrepreneur frequently entails placing all of your eggs in one basket. Tesla's founder, Elon Musk, is well known for estimating that the electric car startup had a 10% chance of success in its early years. Even though it's currently among the top automakers in the world, there were a few moments during the journey when it might have failed and become essentially worthless. In order to weather stock market ups and downs and let compounding of returns do the heavy lifting, you'll also need to adopt a long-term perspective. Despite garnering notoriety and wealth through his stellar investment performance over the years, Warren Buffett amassed over 90% of his wealth after the age of 65. For the most famous investor in the world, stock selection has not been as crucial as time in staying in the game by avoiding excessive risks. This includes never borrowing money to make investments. Instead, you should have a cash reserve that allows you to leave assets alone. Borrowing can turn you into a forced seller. Therefore, for the majority of people, finding a happy medium is key. Maintaining a balance between taking on enough risk to outpace inflation in the long run and avoiding taking on too much, which might destroy much of your wealth and leave you unable to recover. You need to take risks in order to thrive, but you also need to allow for error. This is why it's crucial to understand the notion of diversification, which involves distributing your funds among numerous different investments. Number 3. Ignoring taxes. Younger people are typically not required to pay as much tax. It may appear meaningless because incomes are typically lower and there are fewer savings and investments. However, it can become significant later on. You may be required to pay tax on the amount you get after earning $1,000 in interest tax-free from savings each year. Similar to this, if you take profits from investments or if your dividend income exceeds specific thresholds, you have to pay income tax or capital gains tax. A profitable investment doesn't need to accomplish much to become taxable. Thus, whenever possible, use your ISA allocation to house investments as well as savings. Similar to applying sunscreen, it requires minimal work and is a sensible precaution. Number 2. Missing out on the benefits of pension savings. Making sure you are contributing to any workplace pension plan should be your top responsibility if you are employed. Your employer will provide pension payments to you as long as you continue to elect into the pension and contribute the minimum amount. Even though it might not seem like a top priority in your 20s, you should try to stick with this type of investment as much as you can because it's frequently the most cost-effective approach to saving for retirement. Over an extended period, compounding returns will also be advantageous to you. Pension tax relief on your personal pension contributions may provide an additional boost to your retirement. This government contribution can significantly impact the amount of money you can save for retirement and the size of your investment pot. The government will automatically add 20% basic rate tax relief to your payment. Taxpayers with additional or higher rates are eligible to receive up to 25% and 20% more in reimbursement via their tax returns, respectively. For additional pension contributions, think about a self-invested personal pension, which allows you to choose from an extensive selection of investments. Number 1. Not seeking help. Setting the proper strategies in place might be intimidating when you are just starting out, and juggling multiple responsibilities can be challenging. It might be beneficial to consult with friends or relatives who have more life experience, but if your query is more complicated or you would like an expert's advice, you might choose to chat with a certified financial coach. Financial planners often handle your money on an ongoing basis and collect annual fees, but for many people, this service and the related expenditures are frequently above and beyond what is necessary. This is where financial coaches come in. At Charles Stanley, we can directly address your financial questions and customize coaching sessions to meet your needs. Would you like it? Hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more interesting and informative videos.